All right. Hey, Chuck, what day is it? What's
It is
today's day?
binge
All
worthy
right.
day.
Hey, Chuck, what day is it? Hey, man, it's
What's today's
Wednesday, so you
binge
already
worthy?
know. It's binge worthy. Hello, bingies, and welcome to the Binge Worthy podcast, part of the Geekish Network. My name is Johnny Randolph, and I am a speaker, a trainer, and a podcaster. And I've got three badass co-hosts. So my first co-host tonight, he is a serial entrepreneur. He's a game designer. He's just always flossing and chilling. Say what's up to the people, Chuck.
What's up, everyone? I'm here without my Gucci bag. Apparently, I'm the only one that wants the Gucci bag here with Xbox on the front of it. That's my dedication to this geek stuff. I want the Gucci
Word
bag because
up.
it has Xbox on the front.
And my next co-host is an overall badass. I call him the Game Spitter, because every day on Geek Beast and right here on the BingeWorthy podcast, you can catch him spitting that fire. Say what's up to the people, Syntell.
Yo, I swear to God, I love your intros, baby. I want to be like, have binge-worthy written all the way across from it. Because you know we about to get some super conversations on. Yo, I got a little bit of this purple stuff that's gonna help massage the conversation in the right place. And yo, let's get this bad boy going, man.
That's right, everybody.
Pop
And we
two
are the
quarters in
BingeWorthy
it.
podcast. And so
quarters
we got to
in it.
give a shout out to our missing compadre, the dynamic diva, Miss Cortney Scott Wright. Wherever you are out there, have a good time and have a safe return.
Be safe out there, little lady.
Yes, sir. All right. So the premise of our show is that each week we will binge watch a television series, and then we come right here to the Binge-Worthy podcast to discuss that property. Now, the way our show works is at the beginning of our program, we will rate that series based on our unique binge-worthy scale. And then we engage in an in-depth, high-quality conversation. And then we're going to rate that property again at the end of the show. And maybe our conversations may influence us to change our rating. Now, speaking of ratings, our binge-worthy scale is at a number 5. It is a full binge out. That means that shit is out of sight. It is delectable. It's one of those series that you watch in 1 or 2 sessions. You may curl up on the couch with your boo, over the weekend and watch it in its full entirety. Now, at a number 4 is what we call a full meal. While a full meal is not quite a binge out, it is definitely worth the time of your investment into watching this property. You will thoroughly enjoy it. Now, at a number 3, we call this a mini meal. A mini meal, well, it's not bad. It's just not good. It's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Courtney described it as a TV dinner, and I always say it's a TV dinner without all the Lyris seasoning. At a number 2 is a snack. A snack, well, a snack is something that you're watching because, let's face it, ain't shit else on. And you would probably rather be watching something else, but there's nothing else to do. NBA season is over with. The NFL is over with. Nothing's new on Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Plus or anything. You're just kind of hate watching it. That's what a snack is. And a number 1, it's a cringe worthy. I always say it's some old bullshit. And I'm going to defer to our man and say, Chuck, why the hell did you recommend that we watch this? So that's what a cringe worthy is. Sorry, bro. We keeping it the same way.
Man, y'all got me for everything.
Since we blame
all
you for
that pressure.
everything, we gonna start off with you. How are you going to rate Maya and the 3?
Oh, wow. That's a good one. Y'all starting with me today. Okay. Let me be upfront. I'm giving it a binge worthy. It's binge out. I binged out on this. I think this is one of the most amazing animes I've seen in the animation I've seen in the last probably 5 years. It falls with a lot of tropes, but I expect that for this property. He's like the James Cameron of filmmaking, and it shows. The quality of animation is like some of the best I've ever seen. The detail of all the characters is the best I've ever seen. And people don't understand, they did all this on open source software called Blender. So anybody can download this software. Your children, who he purposely did this with, said, "Hey, anybody can do this level of animation and character modeling with this piece of software." And this is where you people of color who can't afford $2,000 worth of software just to animate, then another $2,000 to actually model. Here's this one piece that's totally free, so you can do both. I can't speak much more about this. The colors, the soundscapes, the characters, the style. Oh, this is like some of the best stylization I've ever seen, and it holds true to the cultures that it uses. The Mesoamerican cultures, and then some of the Caribbean cultures. It made sense. Everything just made sense. And I thought he took a really good care of this project.
Okay, so we got a full binge out. Syntell, I'm gonna jump in here real quick and we'll let you back clean up.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna deviate a little bit or a lot from Chuck's full binge out. And now first I want to start off with some of the positive things, right? Like Chuck mentioned the Mesoamerican culture. Like, I think this is important for that culture. Latin speaking, Mexican background, those types of things, because I want properties like this to succeed. The BingeWorthy and the Geekish Network is all about representation, people of color. So I want to see more properties like this succeed. I differ from what Chuck had in. I didn't know really what to make of this series. Who was it for? Was it for children? Were some of the themes a little adultish? And I found myself being a little bored with it. I didn't love it at all. I thought it seemed a little kiddie-ish. The animation to me was cartoonish for young kids, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds. I thought the themes in it were really simple. I just didn't have that connection with any of the characters. And at the beginning of the program, I said a snack is something that you would rather be watching something else. And as I was watching this last night and the night before, the Brooklyn Nets and Golden State Warriors were playing, and I was like, I would much rather be watching that and trying to get through this series. And Monday Night Football was on. I was like, I would rather be watching the Rams play than watching this. So unfortunately, I'm deviating from you, bro. I'm giving it a snack as of right now. Maybe you guys can convince me to up my rating, but for my initial rating, it's a snack to me. How you feel about it, Syntell?
All right, so I first heard about it through just social media because my timeline was just buzzing. Everybody was like, "Yo, this is must see. This is must see." And then my family started watching it. And I was watching something else, and I'm hearing them crack up. I'm going in, like going through the living room to the kitchen to get some snacks, and they are like focused. So then we had our production meeting, and we were talking about what the next thing is going to be. And I did kind of, I don't think I was the first person to bring it up, but I do remember saying that, yeah, I've heard some good things about it in my family. It's kind of like all in. So there's things on both sides of the both of you's argument that I can agree on. One, I'm gonna start with the negatives first. And what Johnny was saying is that I wasn't sure exactly who this was specifically for. Because there are some really adult themes that's going on, especially dealing with death in a way that may be very uncomfortable for young kids, and maybe a little bit uncomfortable for adults as well, if you're not understanding how different cultures adapt death into their own lifestyle. It's a bit jarring at times and awkward and funny feeling. And the second thing that you said, Johnny, that I think is pertinent is the animation style is just different. It's good. It's really good. And that's what I want to tie in with Chuck. It's really good, but if you're not used to that style, I can totally understand why it could be off-putting. Now, the things that I loved about it is I got to learn. Like, I legitimately picked up like a little bit of a class watching this. I'm woefully ignorant to all of the cultures that exist in the Caribbean and in South America in general. And this is a broad sweeping view of that. So with that being said, because the main reason, because I didn't know who the audience was for, is the only reason why I'm not giving it a binge out. But it is a full meal on the cusp of a binge out, and I'm almost certain that by the time we get done talking about it, it probably is going to go to a binge out. Okay. So full meal for now.
All right, so we got a full meal. We have a binge out, and then we have a snack for me. So what's that? So we got 5 + 1, that's 11. 11 divided by 3. What is that? Divided by 3. So it's a 3.6. We can round that up to a full meal right now. That's what we're leaving at.
Okay.
All right. So the premise of Maya and the Three is setting the world based on pre-colonial Mesoamerican and other indigenous cultures. Maya, a warrior princess, is celebrating her 15th birthday. But when the underworld's gods appear and announce she must pay for her family's misdeeds, everything changes. If she refuses to go along, the world itself will be ravaged by the gods. So she embarks on a quest to fulfill a prophecy, which says that 3 warriors will appear who will help her defeat the gods and save humanity itself from destruction. So we can let's jump into it. The first episode, or let's start again. What do we think about the quality of the acting here? You guys talked about the animation being a little different and being crisp. What do we think about the acting that we have? Because we kind of got some celebrities here, and we know
Tons of them.
And we know that not all actors make good cartoon voice actors. We've had some in the past that it has gone really poorly. But so what do you guys think of the quality of the acting for the series?
Hold on. Let's do a roll call. Zoe Saldana killed it. Gabriel Iglesias killed it as Pichu. Diego Luna as Zatz killed it. Him and Zoe Saldana were the leads in the Book of Life. They crushed it. Rita Moreno.
I thought the acting was one of the high points of it.
Man, Gael Garcia Bernal killed it. He played the 3 brothers. Rita Moreno killed it. Alfred Molina killed it. They got Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She killed it as always. She always kills it. Kate Del Castillo killed it. Danny Trejo killed it. We got Cheech Marin killed it. We got Rosie Perez.
Perez killed it too.
Queen Latifah killed it. Wyclef Jean's in here. Killed it. Like, they put in work on this. Yeah. I mean, there's a whole list. I mean, let's be honest. Jorge Gutierrez, the director and the creator of this, he recruited some firepower behind it. Like, Netflix footed the bag for this, and this is their first outing. And they took a mini series.
Yeah,
they made they made cinematic quality miniseries. They did what Marvel does right now. They did the animation.
Yeah, the thing too is just because though they spent the bag doesn't mean the quality of it is good. But I did think the acting was a high point of the series for me.
But I think they did a lot of casting calls to figure out who they had to act. They wanted people that are from Latin descent or close or Latin adjacent to actually be in this. And they probably did a lot of casting call to get it right.
Well, I also want to tip my hat to the creator / director of the project, to Jorge, because we've discussed at length regarding that just because you're a good actor does not mean that you're going to be a good voice actor. Now, with this much talent, and some of it not necessarily top voice acting talent, and then the project itself being extremely good voice talent wise, that to me has to be a testament of the creator and or the voice director or whoever it is that's allowing these actors and actresses to get their talent to these creators. An example of where that has kind of gone wrong, and I know we bash on Yasuke a lot, but it was an interesting concept that just didn't stick the landing regarding some of the voice work. Maybe that actor could have delivered if they had better guidance in order to bring that character to life. I feel that this project, Maya and the Three, must have had very good direction because there's no misses when it comes to the voice acting. And to have a cast this big and to have like literally no misses, that's a testament to whoever it is that's inspiring these creatives to give their best effort.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so let's jump right into it. So, in episode 1, on the day of Maya's coronation, an uninvited guest from the underworld arrives with the shocking news about her origin, then delivers a dire ultimatum. So, this guy kind of shows up on Maya's coronation and was like, "Hey, your mama said you need to come back home." Which at this time we don't know what to expect. So what are we thinking about the first episode? Chuck, what do you think about the first episode?
I think the first episode sets us up with I guess a red herring, because it's like she wants to be a warrior. We see her actually go to a rumble in the jungle and fight, right?
Right.
And that's the only time we ever see like, oh, you're a girl and you can't be a warrior, because throughout the whole entire series we see women warriors the whole entire time. But it's the first time when we saw her fight, and she put in those hands, and they dotted her eye. They gave her a black eye, so she didn't come out unscathed like any traditional animated property. She actually got injured, and she was okay with it. And her dad was like, he was proud, and the mother was like, "I want you to be a diplomat. I want you to be a diplomat." And then when he popped up, when Zatz popped up the first time, he's like, "Who's this guy?" And he was like, "Yo, your mama said come home." And that's when I was like, "Come out. This is her mama." and that's the first adult theme I said. I was like, "Oh my God, this series just jumped off into infidelity at the top of the series."
Well, we didn't know that at the time. We didn't know that. But like, we didn't know if it was a mistake or like, were they plotting something? So it was like, what's going on here?
And I thought that was golden. I thought that was a great storytelling. And it dealt with what's culturally there. So I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. That piqued my interest. And how he pops up, how Zatz pops up is pretty dope too. And so I really enjoyed it.
Let me jump in, because I know we're over here doing the double dutch, and I'm like, let me jump in. All right. So I'm very ignorant to what all entails a quinceañera. Is that how you pronounce it? A quinceañera? But I know
when you're 15, you become a woman.
It's a celebration of a girl becoming a woman, and to have all of this happening on her quinceañera, and that's when, like, based off of my my Latino brothers and sisters that have, like, tugged my coattails and peeped the game. It's like a really big deal, especially with the dress and then it's coming out party to all your friends and family. And she had one of the illest, like it was like full. She came out to the point where like the straps on her arms was holding her arms up so that she can like relax and become like this angelic thing and everything. I thought that to her to be met with this great drama on this specific day was a great way of imposing the culture early to us, and be like, we're going to be talking about cultural norms that may not be normal to people outside of this. So I thought that was pretty cool. The fight scene I thought was pretty dope, was pretty good as well. And then finding out that she has a really bad flaw to her fighting, and that is that shoulder popping out every single time. I'm like, dang, you need to get that bad boy scoped. But they ain't scoping shoulders in the Azteca community back then. But the hands are nice, but once this pops, then it's all bets are off. But I like that it addressed her flaws like really early, and it gave us a good place to build her up from.
And it was an injury from a fight too. It was an injury from a fight that was really dope. Like, she hurt herself trying to prove herself that she's a warrior just to practice. And it followed her throughout the whole entire series.
And I thought the beginning of it did a good job of establishing who she was, because Syntell, you just talked about the dress, but as she was in it, she looked to me so awkward. Like, she would rather be doing anything but having this dress on and having this ceremony. She would much rather be out there, like in the battle with her brothers. And even though it was lavish and it was beautiful, it just didn't fit her, because you could tell she did not want to be bothered. And it also played into me like the relationship with her mother, because her mother was kind of getting on my nerves. And I know her mother's responsibility is to train her up and to be a woman and things like that, but it was like she was taken away from who she was really trying to be.
Yep. And it doesn't explain why her mother wanted her to be a diplomat versus a warrior, knowing that she's from a tribe. Her mother's a warrior.
Right.
Her mother was the badass.
We find out later, but like, it did not start off that way with her. You would think that her mother was more like the diplomat and wanted her to be girly and things like that.
No, the mother was like, I'm a badass. I just don't want that life for you.
Yeah. You know, that's I really enjoyed too. And one of my favorite characters in the show is the dad. Every time he's on the scene, I just had a great time because this dude, he's a full-blown warrior that just happens to be a dad. He never forgets like his roots. He's ready to give work like at all times. And he embraces it and he loves the battle. And then he's got these brothers, his sons, 3 sons that are just right there with him, like first to step into the ring, first to put in work. So of course Maya is going to be like a part of that. And it makes sense and it justifies it. You know, her dad is the eagle and her brothers were
daddy's girl. You can tell she's a daddy's girl.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. She's a daddy's girl.
And her brothers were cool too, right? The 3 Jaguars. They were cool.
Yeah, Jaguars.
They got their presents for her and everything. And it was a big day for their little sister. And they were amped. They were like, yeah, we're here for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I like that moment outside the bed. They were one-upping each other over how they had to get the gift.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny. He was like, that's whack. Let me wait till you hear this story.
This good.
And the dude is like, that's whack. Let me show you how it really goes down.
I know
family warriors.
I know I'm jumping way ahead, but you talked about the dad, Syntell. My favorite scene was when the god of death comes back to like where they are, and he's got like his baby mama and his wife there.
Yes.
And he's like, hey, what's going on?
We'll talk about that. Oh, we had to talk about that. We had to talk about that.
Like that was hilarious. That was actually a standout point to me. I was like, oh shit, they threw some real adult things in there. So you got the baby mom and the wife all at dinner. Like, that's great.
Chilling.
So
he's just trying to get out of there. He's like, this thing we gotta go to.
So I actually started trying to do research on why Jorge did that. And Jorge said there's a lot of children around the world that deal with this type of situation that is never addressed to them. And they're never told that it's okay. Kids feel less than because they don't have the traditional family or they don't have a single parent. They have 2 parents that love them and then there's an outside parent involved. And it's happened more times. He said, so I wanted to present that in the series and tell people this is okay. And people can handle those situations because adults don't know how to handle the situation because they never been confronted with it.
Oh, yeah. So you could see it was mad awkward. It was mad awkward.
And that kind of like ties in what we were saying earlier. It looks kiddie. It could sound kiddie, but there's some topics that get talked about that's very adult. And you're talking about infidelity. We're talking about how to deal with death. We're talking about like the how the family unit can look something completely different. Yes. Like a large part of my family and friends is that situation. You know, you got the baby's mama, is another situation, somebody's other remarried and stuff. It's very common to be perfectly honest. So for Jorge to be like, well, let's not try to, skim over this elephant in the room and let's make it awkward too. Let's
show what it's supposed to be like.
Let's not pretend that it can't be awkward.
It is a family structure. And I love the beauty of this family structure because all the parents love the children.
And that they did.
Yes. They did. And that's what it should be. He's like, at the end of the day, the expense of parents making mistakes should not be at the child's happiness.
Children. Yep.
And
it did not.
And I was like, okay, I get it. And he said kids need to learn this situation too because they may one day face this situation.
And Maya said something that was really great. She was like, having 2 moms is awesome. And then when they checked her ass, she was like, having 2 moms sucks.
I love that scene. She's like, listen to your mother. No, you listen to your mother.
Right.
What your mom said. I loved it. And the father was like, he was just there like, I'm just.
He was just trying to get the hell out that room, which I get, all right? Because your baby mama show up. Your baby mama show up 15 years later that you cheated on your wife with, and she raised your daughter. Like, woo! I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, and you do kind of like mind how you talk because she is the goddess of death.
Death.
So
She's
you
also
can't
the
be like
goddess of
talking
life,
sugar
too.
at
So
me.
she's technically both, but she holds death as the finality. So you see her, but she's also the goddess of life. In order to reach death, you have to live. It's really that mythology is so interesting. I dug deep in this. After I watched, I was like, let me dig into
Well,
this.
speaking of death, they did not shy away from killing people.
No,
And in
no.
episode
at
2,
all.
they killed the entire Tekka army, including the brothers that they had set us up to love. So what you guys think about that?
They did that in the third episode too. They were like the second episode, I think, right?
Second episode,
Well,
right?
They killed the brothers.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yo, and it wasn't just that too, because we still got to deal with PTSD because Cringer, I call him Cringer, the battle cat, the jaguar that's coming over. Like he's suffering from it. Like this was a warrior's ride. Like this dude, he runs into battle with the king. And based on the L's that got handed out to the whole army, we don't know specifically what he saw.
Yeah, Chipa.
Yo, the jaguar,
Chipa,
he was never the same.
Right.
Yeah,
He
Chipa was
never the same,
and
man.
people don't understand. This is how detailed they did. So on Chipa's spots, there were spots that show where he was, but there's also skulls of the amount of battles he's been in, of the amount of battles he won. So you look at his fur, he had skulls on him. The one thing that Jorge did not shower in, the skulls were everywhere. There are like 1,000 skulls.
That is true. There were a lot of skulls.
And he says people have to get comfortable with death, and death comes whenever you don't expect it to come. You know,
I can feel that. I can definitely feel that tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because death is almost casual. It's so it's that brought up to the point. That's what I was saying.
That's
like,
what death is, though.
For
right?
younger audiences, that could be. You might have to have a conversation.
That's where some of the things
with your kids or whatever.
That's the whole thing. This
know where they were looking for, like, who is this series for?
For children.
But them not shying away, because we've had good series that shied away from killing off main characters, and the one that pops out in my mind was Castlevania. Right? We all talked about it when we reviewed, and we said whatchamacallit should have died. Maya and the Three, they weren't afraid to kill some really main characters. We're talking. I don't want to spoil it right.
A lot.
Yeah.
Like the body count is surprisingly high for a property like this.
This series showed the most loving relationships too. It showed a lot of loving relationships. It showed like for example, the alligator goddess, who's played by Rosie Perez. What's her name? Capacadale, and Danny Trejo, who played Cabra Khan.
That's who Danny Trejo's character was.
He was the earthquake god. Yeah. And how much they loved each other. And she was like, you are not going to kill her because the god of war will kill you for sure. And I cannot lose you as my husband. Like, she was protecting him against himself.
You know why I like that? But I wasn't mad at his ambition either. He's like, it makes no sense for us to risk our lives to bring her back so that he can only get stronger when it could just be me and you, baby. I was kind of feeling him a little bit with that.
I was feeling him too.
Yeah. He's like, yo, why don't we be next up? We can do this. And
but she knew his power. She knew how powerful the God of War was.
The prophecy is just that you kill a half god, half human. It doesn't say it'll empower you. It doesn't necessarily say who has to do it. So if I'm a god, right, a minor god, major god, I'm like, hey, instead of me going out here doing it for the god of war, we take her out, and then we rule. I could definitely see
that. I felt that.
As
and it was around this
As men, we would definitely feel that because we want to be the most powerful. We want to prove
Syntell,
I got this.
Okay,
go ahead. Go ahead, Syntell.
No, I thought your audio went out.
Oh no, I'm talking loud. There we go. Hey, but you know what? It was around this episode when I realized how much they weren't going to flinch, because there's something about the word sacrifice in terms of ritualistic killing. That's just like, damn, that's tough. And they threw that word around like it was nothing. Sacrifice. And in my head, I'm thinking about, like, on top of the Aztec pyramid, and they got the knife, and they're throwing virgins into the volcano and cracking chest plates and stuff like that. Now, keep in mind that that is a Western idea of how sacrifices go, but until I see another idea of how this goes, that's the one that kind of sticks with me, right? And they're just throwing it around like, we have to kill this girl and then take the power. I'm like, this ain't for kids.
But they had very kiddie themes too. So it was like, that's the thing that kept getting me. It was like 1 minute it was like it was really innocent, it was like really kiddish, like the jokey joke and thing like that. And then the next thing they had like sacrifices, and it was genocide in this thing because they were mad. They massacred the army. That was genocide. That was genocide. And remember when I don't know if it was episode 2 or 3, when the people are basically like, why should we get involved in this war with your village because of your king's indiscretion? Why should we sacrifice our armies and things like that because he got a little bit on the side? Turned out she's the scion of the goddess of death and light, right? Who want her back? Like, yeah, give her back. Why do we care?
Episode 2 is also when we get introduced to a death in another interesting way when we meet Rico's character and everything he had to do in order to how he got to where he is, where he killed his master. Yeah, you know, which is
because he was scared of his own power and people laughing. Well, he was insecure because of his stutter.
Yeah,
because of his stutter. And I love.
He was poor. He grew up on the street.
He was poor, and they called it peasant magic.
Peasant magic. Yeah, peasant magic, which is really powerful. Apparently, it was so powerful that people didn't use it.
This is where the series really got interesting to me because it's a black face and we're talking about Latin American culture. Now there are black Latin Americans all over Latin America, but it's just one of those things you just don't see in the mainstream as often, right? So I was kind of curious about Rico and the peasant magic and all this other stuff, and the creator of the show, I forgot his name,
Jorge.
Oh my gosh, Jorge.
Yeah,
Jorge did an interesting hat tip to include the Caribbean. In this form of storytelling, and I would have never guessed that would have been included because you think, well, for me, I've always thought of like there's Latin America and it's everything from Mexico down, and then the Caribbean was like its own separate entity. Yes. It never really got pulled into the diaspora, but not in this story. They're like, nah. You were part of us as well. We got black faces. They had nappy hair. They were using like a form of voodoo per se. Peasant
they were the
magic,
magic
all of this
people.
stuff.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, this is interesting.
And you know what's so good? He made them the people from the moon, Luna, because apparently when the Caribbean blacks went to Mesoamerica, they were like, you're dark skinned, you're from the space, you're from the stars, so you all are from the moon, and so they put them from the moon. They're like they're the airbenders. They're the airbenders of this world.
And they had the magic, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Interesting. And it's one of the first, and it was one of the first cross cultures we met. I thought that was aggressive too. It wasn't like a throwaway kind of thing.
They put
like,
him up front.
And then we got some darkies too. They were like, they really put that culture up front and center and showed us, and like, you're gonna look at these people.
And one thing that he wanted to do was show that when he's not scared, he doesn't stutter. Like, he defeated his biggest fear was stuttering. He only stuttered when he was trying peasant magic at first because he was scared to do it because it killed his master, who told him he was going to be the greatest wizard.
It has a history of being weak too. Yeah. Like, peasant magic has a history of being inferior too. Yes. So like, he's buying into that tradition. So
and that it's more powerful.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So and also they're a smart culture because like, remember, they were talking. They were like, "Hey, we can make a deal with the God of War. You know, we ain't gotta sacrifice nothing that we got out here." So like, they're political. Like, it's a political culture as well. Not just So like, they're balancing magic and politics and all things. They've got a full range of culture there. So I like that part about it. And so if we talk about the the Caribbean and being black, we got to go to the very opposite end when we get what's her name, the Monster Blanca.
Chima, yeah.
She's
albino.
Right, it's albino, so it's completely different. She's ostracized because of her skin color.
And on that, she killed her mother giving birth.
Yeah, another death. Yeah, we're dealing with more death.
Yeah.
Yes.
So father figures and parental figures are getting killed in this series kind of a lot.
It's very Disney-like in that way. Disney kills parental figures all the time.
Yeah, but not on the scale as
not on the
this.
scale.
They'll kill one parental figure.
Yeah,
they
they
ain't
do.
killing because we done killed the chief, we done killed the brothers, we done killed the mother. Disney ain't
Kill
doing
Rico's
that.
dad. Kill
kill
Chimmy's mom.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot of death. I mean, and even the third one, they killed his mom and dad as well.
Pichu,
Too.
they
They killed all the animals. They killed all the animals who was raising Chimmy.
Yep. And Pichu,
Like,
they
people
killed
get
his whole
murked.
entire tribe because
Right.
he showed mercy.
Yeah.
The one thing that I really liked about this, the one thing I truly liked about this series was they did the foreshadow story, what led the person to be skeptical about who they were, like the event that broke them, kind of, and how they needed to come together to each other and be friends. Like there was a lot of maturity and character development in this. This is on the level of Avatar: The Last Airbender. They did it in like seven episodes, so I thought that was brilliant. Because Chimmy was my character. I loved her. When she went out there and she came back and she shot the arrow, I was like, yeah, I'm the one that's here that can do this. I'm the best. And the king was like, I'm going to make you the warrior. And then she was like, nah. And he was a bad king. And his daughter was cool. They call her the Widowmaker. They call her the widow because every man that she deals with, she kills. They die. That's another one. Like every man she deals with dies.
There was a lot of redemption with the daughter. Like she was like,
and
she's the best warrior.
She wanted to save Chimmy. She was
right, and she's like, but Chimmy
her out, and we killed what she loved.
Right, and we've made her so on the offensive. She's not going to trust anything or anybody from our community, right? Yes. Which makes sense, right? Because her mother dies, you ostracize her, and then you kill all the family, which is the animals. You kill everything that she knows, so she hates you guys. Yeah. She lives in a tree by herself.
Yeah. The one thing that this series did better than anything else, it shows forgiveness at a level I've never seen. At a level, it shows so many different forms of forgiveness. Like I tell everybody, Lady Mikta, the goddess of the goddess of death, her forgiveness with Princess Maya was amazing. Like she didn't ask for forgive me when Maya said you don't have the right to call me daughter. She's like, you okay, Mija? And she was like, you don't have the right to call me that. And she's like, you're right. I don't have that right.
Real talk.
And she did everything in her power to earn back her trust. And she let her know, like, I've been there the whole entire time. And you just didn't know. I wanted to sacrifice you, but when you were born to me, I felt love for the first time. I thought I loved this man I married who brought me death, who brought me all the dead lives. I married him because
power, like she was a power couple. Like she was,
like he kills people, and I bring things I create life. He kills them and brings them back to me in death.
Well, he's the goddess of war, so he brings me a bunch. He brings me people to death. Yeah. So,
and like, we're perfect match. And I felt what real love was like.
Yeah, redemption. So redemption is
redemption stories all through this.
I love the forgiveness part because I think, particularly in our community, we could certainly use a story that deals a lot in forgiveness.
Because we look at forgiveness as weakness.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like culturally speaking, and we're a very traumatized culture. Black people in general, there's just a lot of trauma that's built up in our history, and a lot of that trauma maintains itself in the form of us beating up each other. Absolutely. in order to deal with that trauma, and I think a good symptom as a way of alleviating, especially when you're talking to children, is to see a project like this where forgiveness is such a very big thing, in all parts of the culture that we saw. Forgiveness was key in every part. It's like, I forgive you so I can move forward. Forgive you, I trust you so we can be stronger. I thought that was pretty dope. That part was very like kiddie, but still had adult. It still kind of like rang out for me as an adult.
Let's talk. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Chuck. Go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I was thinking about the other guys, like a cat's, right? When he was dealing with a cat, right? He was dating a cat, and she's the goddess of tattoos, and she just wanted the grace of the god of war. The god of war killed her, made her heart. I was like, wow.
Are we talking about Sax's girlfriend?
Yeah, her name's a cat.
Yeah, that was an unexpected L.
That
I
was
didn't expect her to
unexpected.
catch an L that fast. Like,
Yeah,
I was like,
like-
oh
Yeah.
wow,
That
Like,
was
she was like-
it
another
was a
death.
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's even more crazy was Zat's was half God, so he knew whatever they could do to. That's his connection with Maya was like, you're just like me. We're the only two like this, and this he could kill me like he could kill you, and actually get more powerful.
So why
Did
didn't?
they ever explain how he?
Because
how
the
he lost
goddess
his
of
eye? I missed
war,
that.
the goddess of death said her seed. It was her seed, so she indirectly predicted Zat's too. But she was like, my seed, because my seed is half god of war. I mean, god of death. That means you as god of war will always defy death if you eat my seed.
Okay. Because I wondered that parts because I was like, why don't he just sacrifice Zach? And
Yep. And the god of bats, like him and his human woman, they were fleeing together from something, and he had all the arrows in his back, and she knocked him out and said, "Y'all get away."
right.
Like that was like, wow, this is this. It showed.
So
a lot
again,
of
we
powerful
talk about
women
that theme
figures.
of sacrifice, right? That
Sacrifice,
she
yep.
sacrificed herself.
Sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So redemption and sacrifice are two really pertinent and big
Yes.
themes throughout this series.
Yo, how did he lose his eye? I don't remember that.
I don't
Was
think
I
they
like,
even talked about it. He took it from him. I think the God of War took it from him at one point because I think they mentioned he was like, I'll take your other eye.
Ah,
You say that.
okay.
He's,
All
"I'll
right. Yeah, I
take
think
your
I
other
missed
eye."
that.
Yeah, like a lot of things are just assumed. Like the God of the jungle, the God of the animals with the 3 eyes, the bird with the 3 eyes.
Yeah.
Like he really wasn't with the God of War, and the God of War, and you know, he was like,
Yeah.
King the
Well, he
Cheese
was
like-
until he found that humans could be redeemable, given the example of Kimmy. Yeah.
yeah.
Because he was like, damn humans. So I'll side with the God of War because they don't give a damn about these animals.
Don't give a damn
I'm
about
about
these
that
animals.
animal life.
And
Yeah.
he told Chimmy that, and Chimmy
So-
was like, "No, I love the animals. I was protecting them. I didn't want them to see them die on my behalf because I went into the village. I didn't expect that. I didn't mean for that to happen."
Not at all. So what do we think about the God of War as a villain? Worthy villain?
Oh,
Yeah, weak. What do you guys?
I thought he was.
Yeah. What do you think about
amazing.
the God of War? I know villains are your thing. You love a good
So,
villain. How do you think about
I
the
love
God of War?
villains. Yeah, I thought he was great because he was vicious one, and he had solid purpose. And he's like, listen, I'm trying to be the dopest God possible, the most powerful. Right. And first off, like I got him in a lot of different ways. Even at the very end, I kind of felt bad for him because his lady, his main squeeze, not just cheated on him, but cheated on him with a human. All right. Like
And he said,
the
"I love
lowest
you."
form.
Right.
The lowest form.
Redemption. Right. Again,
Right.
redemption.
Yo,
But she had a caveat and was like, well, listen, I may have done this horrible thing, but if you eat my child, then you can become powerful. As a matter of fact, you don't even got to raise them. How about that? I'll have these dumb humans raise them. And then when she gets ripe, then you can eat her, and then
and she
we
just
can
purposely
be
hit her.
a bigger power couple. But you know what broke my heart, dog? And I felt bad for him, man. It's like, yo, this lady has cheated on you. She's supposed to be your ride or die chick.
He
And at the
said
very
that.
end, she like turns her back on him. Like, I get that he's the bad guy, but if that's your girl and I'm a bad guy, then you're gonna be a bad guy with me. We doing this together.
Right.
Yeah.
And she was like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I felt bad for dude.
And he said it was like,
"Oh."
he was like, hey, when you cheated on me, I forgave you.
I forgave
I could have
you.
done some real evil shit, but like you my girl, and I brought you back in, no thoughts about it. And so you gotta ride with me to the end. This was the plan. This was the plan.
This is the plan.
Yeah. And she told him, like, I fell in love with my daughter.
Right.
And I carried her, and I fell in love with her when I had her, and I didn't want you to kill her. So let her live, and let's go back. You can just go back. We can be okay.
Yeah,
And
what do
he
you
was
mean?
like,
Let's go back.
"No,
Like this was the plan.
This was the plan.
Ah.
All
It
of
was
this is
so
because of-
good. But that was her final redemption, right? Because she looked back at her daughter and the family, her family that raised her daughter, and was like, leave these people alone. I know I'm the God of death, but this is not right what we're doing. But he said you came up with the plan. This is your
Right.
plan. And she's like,
this is your plan.
But she was like,
Right.
I changed my mind. I changed my mind.
So you can't change your mind.
Right,
Now.
we done came too far to turn back now.
It
So
was
you gotta
good.
feel him on that. Like he got a
felt
little
him.
empathy, right? He got a little
felt
empathy.
him.
To
Yo,
me,
and there's actually
empathy. Like, yeah.
Yeah, there's a moment you could see his heartbreak.
His
Like,
heartbreak.
I
He
was like,
heartbroken.
damn, y'all
Yeah.
really jacked my man up. And then once that happened, dog, everybody called L's. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
He was like, all
Collies,
y'all can get these hands. All
everybody's getting it.
And she knew
And
that
I
he was
felt that too,
vicious,
though.
right? He was vicious
felt
because he
that.
grabbed the other guys. When he killed the other guy right there, and was like, I'm eating all y'all's hearts. Thank y'all for y'all sacrifice.
Yeah, he went on. Denzel was like, I'm putting cases on all you son of a
on
bitches.
all you suckers.
Yeah.
24-hour lockdown.
Yeah,
He
I felt
was-
about that though,
Yeah,
man. I
yeah.
did.
Let's talk
I
about-
was like, everybody dies now. We're gonna do it like that.
Yeah, like her and Khan. Like I loved all the battles. The battles was like some of the best battles I've seen.
Final battle was about as
It
epic
was-
as anything.
It was better than Endgame. It was 2 episodes. The final battle was 2
The final battle was
episodes.
epic. It was.
And the way it ended too, where he came out as the snake creature, like his final form wasn't even a humanoid. It was a
And they
creature.
called out final form too. I like
Yeah.
that. She was like, he's finally in his final form. I was like,
And they were like protect the kids, because if he gets the kids, it's done. It's a wrap. So the kids are very important. And she said mom and dad, who dad couldn't walk, remember, his legs were broken up. And
he's about that life.
and he lost
He puts it all
one
out
arm.
there.
He was so about that.
He was about that life, dog.
And they went to go fight. And how Rico stepped all up.
Yeah,
He
I was
made
about
a
to say
Megazord.
Rico was like the MVP kind of, right? I mean, with
Yeah,
the magic,
man,
he was
he really
he took
did.
it to another level, and he really conquered the ideal of peasant magic. He said,
Mhm.
you know, it's peasant magic. Like, aren't you scared? He was like, yeah, of course I'm scared, but what does that got to do with it? This shit needs to get done, so I'm
Done.
out here doing it.
Mm-hmm. 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 And the fact that the way that Maya ended in the end, like she died.
They
Saved
killed her.
him.
I did not see that. I
No,
did
nobody
not
saw
see that.
that.
I said, it's no way they're going to kill her. She rides off into the sunset, right?
Yup, they
And
killed
becomes
her.
the queen. They killed her
They
ass.
killed her.
Yo,
It
I
was-
was shocked when they killed
Spoiler alert.
Pichu first. We can
when
rewind
they
it.
killed Pichu, I was
Yo,
like,
when they did it,
wow.
Pichu, I was like, dang, he
And
ain't
Pichu
gonna
was like,
you
I need a
know,
warrior's
hide
death.
or something.
No, he was like, I need a
But he
warrior's death.
went out like a beast.
Yeah,
That's what he
he
wanted.
needed
And
it.
I like the way they transitioned it too, because he goes in with his sword out, and the next thing you know, he's just waking up and he sees his mom and dad. And I was like,
I cried then. I literally cried
Oh.
then.
I see Pichu dying though. He's a warrior. He's a
Yeah.
warrior, and he thinks of nothing better than to die. Like
Yeah. 'cause
dying
you
in
gotta think
battle
that
to save his people. Like that's his MO in life. So
Yeah.
I got that.
and
But I did not expect Maya to die.
And
I
what was the girl
like,
that saved him? The girl, the scorpion girl? The girl that she's like, why you let me go? He says, because I showed mercy. And she goes like 20 feet, turns around, bow, hits him. Then she kills everybody around him and spares him and said, because you showed mercy, you don't
Yeah.
deserve a warrior's death. I killed everybody that you love because they deserve
and he had to
it.
live with that.
Had
He
to
had to
live with
live
it.
with that.
He was fighting smoke, guys. He was fighting the mist.
Yeah.
He was in a training
But-
with the mist.
In the end, he still said, "Mercy is what you do."
Mercy
And
is what you do.
I wouldn't have changed that.
And his
So,
mother and father, like you did, that's
That's
what a
right.
real warrior does.
that's what a real warrior does.
Shows mercy.
So we again some very adult themes going on here
It is adult themed. It is adult
And it's-
themed.
in this show that I don't know what it's for, man. I don't know.
But is it adult themed to us as Americans that grew up here? Maybe in Jorge's culture and his Mexican.
I don't know.
American
And
culture.
that's a good
and
point.
that is key.
Because
Yes.
Europe doesn't think this
Yes.
is adult. They think this is really kiddie.
Mm.
Japan thinks this is kiddie because they deal with death differently. We're one of the few cultures around the world that are fearful of death, even though we're told we should deserve it and go to it and be in a better place. But we're fearful of our death. And
Yeah, it's-
in their cultures, you think Aztecan culture, Mayan culture, they look forward to death. Mana Picchu, Pichu's name is Mana Picchu. They were fighters. They looked forward to it.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I never thought about it from that perspective.
Yeah, their cultural lens. And why would he make
Culturally,
something?
just
Why?
and not necessarily by just culturally how we see the world as opposed to how other cultures see the world.
Yeah.
So that's a valid point.
Yeah.
Because you do have to keep in mind, like storytellers to tribes and other communities in general, these storytellers told these grandiose, like Gilgamesh type battles, and they didn't pull any punches with the kids. You know, you came and sat by the fire and listened to the same stories that your parents did, regardless of the violence and the death that's in there. It seems like, you know.
Yeah. There wasn't a television to go like, hey, go in your room or nothing. You sat by the campfire with your peoples and
it wasn't a rating system. It's like, this is the story and this is what we're gonna run with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the end of every story is death. And that's true. And you understand
it is a lot. Like, it was jarring for me. I was like, it's a lot of
it's a lot of
I
death.
loved it. I was like, oh, I get this. I would show this to my child because it sparks a conversation that you have to have. It sparks a lot of conversations that we shy away from. Then we throw our kids out there as adults to tell them to deal with those situations. Yet we never prepared them for them. We never prepared them for them.
And like the brothers, Maya, they're kids.
They are kids. She's
this
15,
series killed kids.
and they're
man. Yeah.
Pichu's whole village died.
Right? Yeah, it killed kids. That's not something we do a lot in cartoons.
Yeah.
No.
Cartoons and they look like because it seemed like it had a child's thing. Like maybe originally the target audience were children. And in our cartoons for children, we don't typically kill kids. We kill adults.
Yeah.
We kill parents, as we talked about.
Yeah.
We don't kill kids.
Yeah, it's the movie 3. You don't kill kids, you don't kill old people, and you don't kill dogs. Those are like the big 3.
Yeah.
And they kill animals real quick.
Yep.
They murk some kids.
They murked the monkey.
He said, I watched The Wire, so why worry about cartoons? The Wire.
Here's the thing, you know what it is? It's the now if this same story was done in an anime style, we would have thought nothing of it. It's because of the way it looks.
I think so too.
It looks like something that you would show like a 6-year-old kid. You know, and then you get into the story and you're like, whoa, because do I need to have this conversation now? Yeah.
My wife walked past. She was like, "What are you watching? Something for Noel?" And I was like, "No, this is what we're reviewing this week." She's like, "Oh, this looks like something for kids." And I was like, "Nah, well, yeah, no, no, I don't know. Shit, I don't know."
Yeah. It makes you really think of what is appropriate for kids, and we have so many rules of what we show our kids, and yet we never discuss these very adult because. There's a 7-year-old kid right now playing Halo and Call of Duty.
Nah, true.
And the parents wouldn't show him this animation, which would actually spark conversation.
That's very true. That is very true.
It's good things.
Yeah, I remember when the movie Coco came out, and it had a little bit of controversy, because it said the whole thing was, "Are your kids ready to hear this story?" And Coco's a beautiful film, absolutely beautiful, and it deals with the afterworld. But this is like Coco on crack. It's Coco to the 10th power.
Yeah, man,
because they dropping bodies. And in violent ways. Like that's the thing. It's not just that they're dropping bodies. It's the nature, but the implications.
Are hard.
Like when an entire army got wiped out.
Yes, in the first episode.
To the point that the battle cat had post-traumatic stress.
Yeah, man.
Like, that's how bad the L's were getting cast. It's like, damn. We come out the gates with that.
Yeah, and like Maya's the protagonist. So imagine if Disney did this. Right, they got all this merchandise like Maya and everything, and you go to the movie and all these little girls go here and they relate to her, and at the end she dies.
Yeah, she dies.
Y'all imagine it, like,
and she goes with her brothers, and people don't understand. Her sword was so badass; it had the 3 jaguars on it for her brothers, and the eagles on the very end.
Yeah.
And
That
it
sword
breaks.
was dope too.
And
sword
it
was
breaks.
dope.
All the weapons are dope.
And
you know, all the
as
colors
sword
meant
was
something.
so
All the colors
dope.
meant
As she
something.
learned to use it, it got even doper, right? Because you could see her
Yeah.
wielding it.
All
and
of them.
the skills
Chimney
that
with
she
the
developed.
arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were dope. They were doing it.
The sword to me, because it's so not typical of like European swords or swords that you see like samurais
It's a
use or
woman
swords or it's just always just like this one piece of steel. Whereas like Aztecian swords had like chipped, volcanic glass on the side. That was like the blade's edge. Plus it's heavy as shit. So you can knock somebody out with it on top of it. And so it was serrated, it was heavy, and then you had that pointed tip. I mean, it was a gnarly weapon.
Yeah.
It was
for
a
what it's used.
Yeah, it was a big boy sword. Like you would think of her father having that sword as opposed to her, but she wielded it like a pro.
Like a pro.
Yes,
all
she
of them,
did.
all the weapons. Like even when Chimmy shot the arrow, she said, "Throw your sword," and they're fighting the gods of storms, the storm gods, of wind and storm.
Oh
and she
yeah, that
broke
was
the
it.
arrow.
That
She
was
was like,
like,
"Pew," and it broke, and it went in both directions and hit them. And they took all running. I love the fact that it was hard for them to kill the gods. They didn't let these humans just kill the gods. It was like, no, we knock them down and we run.
And really, Maya was the one who could really only kill a god.
Her and Zax.
And she even had to deal with it too, because when she did finally kill a god, and it's like, oh, she's like, damn, I really am that bitch.
Yeah.
Just like if it comes down to it, I can do this.
And when Peachy
liked it because she thought about it, because like that's her first body.
Mm-hmm.
So you pick your first body, like, oh, like I saved us, but I took a life too. So it's like it was that dichotomy of like saving my friends and also taking a life myself. Yeah, it was.
This series is about your actions have consequence, and some of them are very severe.
Yeah,
like when Pichu died. They were like, what? When she lied to them and said, we're going to go destroy the gate. We're not going to go through the gate. We're going to destroy it. And her whole idea was we're going to go through it. And I'm going to put these hands on the god of war. And I'm going to kill the lady of death. And she lied to Chimmy. She's like, you'll get to meet the goddess of death. You'll get to meet her. You can ask her about your mom. But she had no intentions of letting that happen. She was going through there to kill him.
And she made
go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and there's that moment when she didn't want to leave too, and they had to like snatch her up and be like, "We got to go." She was ready. She was ready to kill everybody, including herself, just for her vengeance. So.
Good shit. All right, so we talked about this ad nauseum, so we're gonna re-rate it again. Syntell, bro, you went last time. How you gonna re-rate? How are you gonna rate Maya and the Three?
I thought that our conversation would have pushed me to an absolute conclusion for it to be completely binge worthy, but I'm still stuck on that question regarding, because it looks one way, but it's telling a totally different story. And it's just me. It's a me problem. Not the project itself is fine. It's a me problem of me trying to adjust that form of storytelling to how it looks. It's a mismatch. So that's the only thing that's keeping it from being binge worthy. I would love to see a redo of this with more adult themes, more adult looking like animation. Of course, that's not going to happen, but I think that story is strong enough with enough adult themes that you can make an animated version, an anime version of this, a live action version of it. And it just really, really hit home without that weird, awkward kind of feeling. This is must see. I'm telling you, for anybody, if you want to just see a different story, it's still must see. It's still a full meal. I wish I could give it binge worthy, but that part does still bother me.
The conversation we've had, I don't know. It's been good conversation, and we've touched on a lot of good things: redemption, sacrifice, death,
forgiveness,
and I'm kind of. Forgiveness, and I'm still with Syntell. this look, it bothers me. It really does, because it feels kiddyish. And then there are moments, like lots of months, like I thought the black guy, a lot of his dialogue and interaction at the beginning was really kiddyish, and it was
funny.
At the beginning, it was hinging.
He's the comic relief.
Yeah,
he would have grown me. I can't lie.
Right. It was hinging on Jar Jar Binks. It was hinging at the beginning, and it was bothering me. But by the end, he had a full arc. So it was like, oh, okay, we turned it around. So I am going to change my rating because we talked about it, and I'm going to give it another watch because the conversation here was good, and I think it's a slightly better than a mini meal because of the things we had. But like, they got to do something about this animation style and some of those early writings. But I'm gonna take it up 2 full steps, and I'm gonna change my rating from a snack to a full meal.
Oh wow!
Conversation. Based off the conversation, you guys convinced me. Especially as we talked more in depth about the characters and about those things. When Syntell talked about sacrifice and how it was really prevalent throughout, I was like, that's right, it was a lot of sacrifice.
It was a lot of sacrifice,
and
it was
then,
sacrifice
like,
for love.
When you said about the death, it's like culturally, but like I'm looking at it through the eyes of an American lens of things like that. So maybe other cultures don't see it the same way we do. So like those impact me. So I'm gonna take it from a snack to a full meal, and I'm gonna give it another watch. So Chuck, man, how you rating it?
I'm gonna give it a binge worthy. I love this show. I love because I recognize that the colors of the magic, the yellow meant something, the red. Why would the armored people such as Pichu and Maya, their colors of their weapons were orange, and Chimmy's was green and orange, depending when she shot the arrows, and sometimes blue. But the peasant magic was purple, royal purple, and their standard magic was just gold. It was like all that stuff meant something, and I thought the care they put in this was definitely binge worthy. Like all the details, like ornamentation on the armor, all the skulls on the earrings, like everything was like, wow, they went all out with this, and they did it with free software to encourage.
That is impressive. So this is actual free software.
Blender's a free software bundle.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
it is impressive. It's very impressive.
Very impressive to say, hey kids,
actually inspiring.
You can do this.
Yeah,
you can do this.
It's inspiring.
It was the best animation I've seen in a long time. I was like, this shows why Netflix actually bought all of DreamWorks animators and got a lot of Disney animators and threw them in a room and said, go. Yeah. This is the second one. Claus was the first one, which was a perfect movie. Claus was an amazing movie, and I thought this is a perfect miniseries. Like, this is cinematic level animation put on a TV show.
Yeah. Yeah, the sound design was really good too. I know we didn't really talk about that. The sound design was really, really good. Like it's just getting better across the board for a lot of just projects in general. But yeah, go ahead.
All right, so we got 2 full meals and a full binge out. That gives us a score of 4.33. So we round that down. It's a full meal.
Full meal.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Syntell, man, you got anything to say before we head out?
Yeah. Let me see if I can make this really quick. Okay, so we are seeing like a bit of a trend of like this pan cultural projects that are being done. We saw it with Raya and the Dragon, where you take a whole lot of different cultures and put it on one. We see it with Maya and the Three, where you're taking a whole lot of cultures and putting it into one. And I'm cool with that. I think this is the time and the place for now, but I am looking forward to a point where we can narrow that focus down even more and get even more specific stories, and maybe talk about not just the Aztecs, maybe talk about the Mayans specifically in their storytelling, or talk about what happens with Machu Picchu and that type of storytelling, or maybe just voodoo magic. It's like now that we've got like this 30,000-foot view of it, let's narrow it down and get even more stories. So that's where I'm hoping that this trend continues.
I like it. Boss man, you got anything before we head out?
I just want everybody to watch it. I think it does more than just American culture. It hypes up indigenous culture.
Yes.
Like I'm tired of people calling Mexicans Latinos. No, they're indigenous. The only thing that made them Latins when the Spanish came in. Oh, something else from it. So when the God of War called his military,
they're conquistadors. Yes, I was like, that's how you do it. The real villains, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, that's a big fact.
Yes,
I feel you on that. I almost jumped out of my seat when he called the enemy army, and they were colonizers.
Yes. And let me talk about the God of War's face. The double skulls that turned in on each other, that faced each other like their heads up to fight each other, because he was the God of War, the yin and yang. So the reason they faced each other because they actually are fighting each other. Who's the better half of God of War? Man, there's so much detail into this series, you guys.
Oh, did you read all this? You did all this research?
Yeah,
Okay,
I did research.
I was like,
who are these and why they make him two-headed? Because he has both heads and they both fight. And then they face each other to form one head, so it shows that he fights. And how his horns come out. I was like, man, they win. They showed so much love to this. The love and care that they had. I hope that this happens again. I hope this happens again. I would love to see this with African cultures where they bring a mesh of them from like East Africa or West Africa together and actually tell a story similar to this.
Nice. All right, man. So next week we're doing a live action version of Cowboy Bebop, right? Does it premiere?
Yeah. Is it all out? I think it's all out on this weekend, right?
I believe so. I hope it's all out. If it's not all out,
we'll find something else.
Listen, if it's not all out, I'm gonna throw my little mark in the thing for Arcana because it's just.
Is it all going to be out though?
No, but neither is Cowboy Bebop if they don't.
We'll have to find.
That's all I'm saying. We'll see.
We'll see.
So it'll either be Arcana or Cowboy Bebop, the last act. Well, we could do the animated version if it's not all out.
Yeah, that's true. We could do the animated. We said we'll do the animated version first. Yeah, so let's do the animated version just to be safe.
Okay. We do the animated version first.
Animated version of Cowboy Bebop.
Cool. So tune in next week for that, guys. And that concludes our show. As always, thank you for tuning in. Now, we want to give a shout out to Digital Click. They, all the artwork that you see and everything, they keep us looking good, keep us looking fly and fresh. If you are interested in marketing needs, promotional needs, visual design, please consider giving them a holler. It's digitalclick.com. Now, also, please follow us here on Twitch. And if you love what we are doing, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you have Amazon Prime, which like it's 2021, why wouldn't you have Amazon Prime? You can link your account and subscribe to us using your Prime Gaming. Now, this won't cost you one single red cent, but it'll mean the world to us. Also, tomorrow we've got Origins Illustrated. It is our show, comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, all things geek from a female perspective. These ladies are super sharp. Cortney Scott Wright, one of our co-hosts here, is a mainstay on the cast. So, if you watch us in the past, you get to see Cortney interact with some other dynamic women. And also Geek Beast, that's Chuck and Syntell. They're battling it out every single day, talking that geek news stuff. So tune back in. As I like to say, the Geekish Network, we are a network owned by people of color. We are minority owned, and we are working to bring you amazing content. All of the people on this network are people of color, writers, directors, actors, producers, developers, podcasters, and we are working hard to bring you stories and content from people of color's perspective. So please go out there, share. Did you like this show and all the shows on the network with your friends, on your socials, or anything? Because we want to get better. We want to grow to keep providing you with amazing content. So that's all for us. Come back and see us next week. We're doing a Cowboy Bebop, the animated version.
We'll do the animated version because we're not sure they're going to release all of them.
Yeah, we're not sure.
Live action. They may just drop 3 episodes.
Right, yeah. Which a trend we talked about on Geek Beast a couple weeks ago. We don't like that. Me and Courtney don't like it. So, all right, so tune back in next Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Talk to you guys later. Peace.